Okay, so I've been assigned to Sword Art Online Lost Song, which is coming out on PlayStation 4. Cool. So I decided to do my homework, and boy, did I do my homework. I lifted, if you're not watching, which you should be, you can listen to it too.
Megan's really good at homework. I don't know if this is your first time watching the show, but Megan always does some serious homework.
I do my research. And so I watched the first season of Sword Art Online, and I did a speed run of all 25 episodes, so I'm still a little loopy about everything that happened.
So you told me you did a speed run. What exactly does that mean? You just scrub through the episodes just to get...
So I watched the first 7 or 8 episodes just full on, and then I started like skipping the opening song, and then I'd like watch a few minutes and skip a little bit ahead at the sort of slower parts because I had to get this done really, really fast.
Right. Yeah.
So there are 3 things I love about it and 3 things I do not like about this show. And the things that I love is I love the concept of like this mad scientist, sort of an evil Hyoin Kyoma, who creates this
actually so cool.
Actually, the evil one. I am mad scientist who like creates this virtual reality helmet that can trap video game players in an RPG called Sword Art Online. And the only way that they can get out of their virtual reality helmet without being zapped and killed is they have to win this game. And I like that concept. I just think that's a really cool concept. Like, we're doing a lot more virtual reality, and I think that this is something that, who knows, it could happen.
Just die playing Oculus Rift.
Yeah. It's like, what happens if you get stuck in your game?
That's how I feel when I play
when you fall
VR.
On the walk, you actually fall all the way down.
Just actually die. I always get motion sick, so it's like dying.
Yeah, so kind of it's a slow, agonizing death. But anyway, so luckily you have a really cool protagonist. I really like Kirito as a protagonist. I like that they set him up as this very competent, skilled MMORPG player, and he's in the beta. And so even when the show gets quasi-haremish, which can be a little annoying, I actually believe it because he's a cool guy with good skills.
That's the best kind of harem for me, is when it's like, I can see why people would like you. Like,
you could see you like it. And I love that. And I'm going to get hated on for this, but my favorite couple is Klein and Kirito. I think their bromance is the best. I mean, I wish it wasn't such a weird, creepy age discrepancy, but otherwise it's like, move over, Asana. It's all about Kirito.
I really like Asuna, especially in the first half of the first season.
I think she was a really cool protagonist in the first half.
I liked Kirito in the first season, but in the second season he gets really boring. You're like...
So I noticed
that too cool now.
In the second story arc,
attitude.
Like the first story arc is really good. It's all about trying to get out of, despite like the pacing issues, I thought that trying to get out of the game alive was a cool concept. And then the second half of the first season, it's like all of a sudden Asuna's like this bird in a cage and suddenly she's helpless. And I'm like, what? And you've got this like, even for a cartoon, this cartoonish super villain who's like, you know, I'm the only one who's keeping her alive in this game, and, you know, you have to beat me to, like, free her. Just the whole thing was kind of garbage. And the whole thing with Leifa and, like, Kirito's cousin.
I think the big problem between those two story arcs is that it kind of turned everything it did really well in the first arc and on its head and just did bad things. Like, Asuna was awesome, and she's, like, powerful and fierce. And then all of a sudden, she's locked in a cage, and she can't do anything. And she kind of does some stuff, but not enough to justify, like, what they did to her character.
Yeah, I don't understand that, because she was, like, she and Kirito were so cool, and like...
They also built, like, this really great relationship between Kirito and Asuna. Like, they get their own little house. It's, like, a wedding kind of thing, and they're really cute. And then you start these harem elements, which were kind of light in the first arc, which is fine. But
and it made sense in the first arc. I actually got it.
And then in the second arc, you just do like these really weird, incestual almost sort of things.
That was really hard to watch. The whole thing with Leifa and him, and it's like they're cousins, and I guess in parts of Japan it's still okay to marry your first cousin, but they were raised as siblings, and so that was the thing that just tweaked me. I mean, both things tweaked me out, but that really messed me up. I was like, I can't handle this. This is really, I don't know what it is with sister complexes and stuff in certain subgenres of anime, but it put like a pall over the whole thing.
It's just really weird. It's like, why is this a thing? Like, why did it have to happen?
Yeah, I don't understand that, but I just know that I really liked the first story arc. It was really cool, and the whole thing with Heathcliff and making it to the 100th level. I thought pacing was a little off. Like, I felt like they could have dove more into what was happening in the real world. But overall, I liked it. But the second story arc of the first season was like, bleh.
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I just lost my thought. Go ahead.
I stole your thoughts.
You did.
Stole
your
thought. No. Just surprises. I haven't seen Sword Art Online, mostly because I heard super mixed things about it, and I was like, I consume a lot of media. I got to prioritize what media I consume. So should I, you guys both having, like, knowing what you know about Sword Art, should I give it a shot?
Watch the first 14 episodes for sure.
Okay.
And then just brace yourself for like the second story arc, because Miranda, you were saying the second season.
So the second season ends super well. I like Sword Art. I mean, casually, it's fine. The second arc is really disappointing, but I'm still interested like in how they present all these video game worlds and how they're different rules and stuff. Like it's still really interesting. But there is a first like gun world arc, which is fine. Like it does its job. Then there's like an in-between Excalibur arc that doesn't really matter that much, which is kind of fun. But then the last arc is Mother's Rosario, which features Asuna again, and they kind of put her back in this more cool, empowered role where she's dealing with a lot of stress at home and in the real world and trying to balance that with, being with her friends in the games. And so she comes from like a really well family and she has to deal with those kind of stresses as well.
I kind of wonder with these people, because they always have some drama happen in these virtual reality games. You'd think they would just quit. You think they'd be like, nope, I was in a coma for 2 years while I was trying to win this Sword Art Online game. Maybe I won't go diving back into this stuff.
You know, when you become a trash monster with a game, you stay
that way.
Stay a trash monster.
It's in your DNA.
Like I've talked about Destiny on this show. I'm wearing a Destiny necklace today because that's how trash I am. So I don't blame them for just going back into Death Game City or whatever's happening.
Yeah, so I think the last arc in the second season really feels more like the first arc in the first season, and just really high quality, really great story. And it's
good to
also
know.
impactful with how virtual reality affects people in real life. And so that's kind of what the first one kind of did in a way.
And that was the third season
It's not out
announced,
yet.
though, right?
Yeah, like I think the animation studio said that they'll keep making anime as long as there's still books.
Sure. I'm just saying, Kirito and Klein, once Kirito's of age, ship it.
Kirito,
No kiss.
I just hope he gets better.
You can kind of quasi-date him in the Vita game, by the way, which I thought was hilarious. Like, that's exactly what I did. It was like, this is my waifu. You can carry him around town and hold his hand.
So
Like, you don't
weird.
get, like, a romance cutscene like with the other girls, but you can kind of quasi-date him.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
But I do like Asuna and Kirito together. They're a good couple, and I don't understand why they kind of got, like, nudged aside in the second half of the first season. But whatever.
Now I'm intrigued to check it out because, as always, I have a much better time understanding what's good and bad about an anime when I talk it out than if I'm just reading a description or just when I get a general consensus off like anime Twitter or whatever, and see like, oh, people are trashing this one show, and that's not a complete way to kind of evaluate a show.
Right.
So